Constantine is directed by Francis Lawrence. It's about John Constantine, an occult detective who's trying to stop the potential apocalypse from hell, while at the same time trying to save Angela's twin sister's soul, both played by Rachel Weisz. So upon request of a subscriber I will be reviewing this movie. If any of you would like me to review a film in the future, either let me know in the comments below, or let me know on one of my pages. Thanks. Foremost, one of the reasons why my subscriber wanted me to review this film is because the people around him are very divided when it comes to this film, and honestly, while watching the movie, it didn't take long for me to understand why. On note of Francis Lawrence, it seems like he did a good job at giving off this, dark, melancholy kind of atmosphere to the characters. Most of the characters in this movie have almost like a jaded tone to them. They're a little cynical towards the world, especially Rachel Weisz's character, along with Keanu Reeves' John Constantine. There are a few exceptions to this, like Shia LaBeouf's in this movie. He falls into the category that honestly I don't find very appealing when it comes to movies, is the sidekick, eager to please kind of character. And I noticed during the early 2000s, for some reason, Shia LaBeouf got casted constantly for those kind of roles. I don't know why. I'd have to say, out of all the roles that he's gotten that are the same kind of character, I mean, this one is pretty much the best one out of all those. Another character that I feel didn't have that tone to, their character is Tilda Swinton, who plays Gabriel in the film. And I thought that she did a really good job. I always thought Tilda Swinton had this, almost otherworldly kind of presence to her. So it makes sense that she was casted to be this angelic figure. So Djimon Hounsou is in this movie. He's in Shazam. He's in the MCU. And it's he's kind of always been in comic book films, so that's kind of cool. In this movie, he plays Papa Midnight. He's almost like this powerful figure in the community of supernatural beings almost, and he has this club in the film, but at the same time, he's almost this moral pacifist. He doesn't get himself involved, and it doesn't take until the third act for him to actually play a part. Personally, in comparison to the comics, I don't like this. In the comics, he's almost swaying back and forth from ally to enemy. But in this movie, I guess it's fine because he really only comes up for 2 scenes. The first scene, addresses that he's kind of this I don't want to be involved kind of character. And then the next time he comes up, it's push or shove, choose a side. And then he chooses a side. Peter Stormare is in the movie. He plays Lucifer. I've really never seen a version of Lucifer like this before. So it was really refreshing to see. Even now, looking at it, this movie is either almost 15 years old or a little more than 15. And yeah, I've never really seen another Lucifer that is similar to this one. I really like the cinematography in this movie, as well as the set designs. I feel like they kind of go hand in hand in the fact that they bring this authenticity to every location that comes up in the movie. When it comes to the practical effects as well as the CGI in the film, considering that it came out in 2005, I think it pretty much, for the most part, holds up pretty well. I didn't expect that, honestly. I thought going into this movie that there'd be a lot of this is very obviously green screen. And not to say that there aren't moments in this movie that are like that, because there are, but overall, 90% of the effects in this movie, they still hold up pretty well. And I can tell that it's because they use the CGI in very quick ways to where, if the CGI is not good or the practical effects aren't that good, they try to be quick on the cuts, which I think is a very smart move when it comes to movie making. The writing was decent, it's easy to follow, it's cohesive. So there's a few issues I have after shortly meeting John Constantine, and after this situation where they deal with all these demons she's never seen before, grant you. She has such a tamed reaction to it, and I'm I understand, you're a detective, you've seen a lot of crazy stuff, and so you're gonna have this jaded outlook towards most things, but your reaction should be a little bit more. And I don't know whether that is a problem of the writing or a problem of the direction. Another issue that I had, there's this footage that she gathers that shows what happened to her sister. And the footage is a camera that was on a rooftop showing her about to walk off a ledge. and it perfectly catches the audio of her saying John Constantine. My problem is not that. My problem is the fact that anybody who owns a camera or knows how a camera works, they know camera quality audio is just not good. So imagine it being nighttime, busy city, windy rooftop, but it perfectly captures what she says, especially with it being like 20 feet away from her. That's just, to me, I thought that was really silly. Nothing stands out. You can tell very much that in the early 2000s, the movies were trying to go for this almost like dark, sophisticated approach to making films, even films that are based off of comics, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like in some cases it works, and in other cases I feel like it wouldn't have been so bad if they wanted to give more character to the franchise. I can understand both sides when it comes to their opinions on this film. To me, what matters is if it's a good film, if it has good writing, if it has good direction, great performances, good effects and everything. If it's a good film, then to me it shouldn't matter if it's similar to the comic or not. If it's similar to the comic, then that's great, but at the end of the day, there could be a movie that is similar to the comics but is a terrible film. And to me, I feel like when it comes to this film, it does everything it's supposed to do with the writing, effects, performances, direction, but at the end of the day, I feel like the thing that makes it almost forgettable is just how boring it is. There's slow pace, the plot, the conflict is this potential apocalypse happening from hell, and I feel like most people have seen plots like this before. Granted, this is a 2005 film, so probably during this time, it might have been something different. With all that's come out since, the movie as a whole and in its quality alone, I feel like doesn't hold up. So I think overall I'm going to give Constantine a B-. I feel like if you are really into films of the early 2000s, then check this out. If you're a diehard Hellblazer / John Constantine fan, I would say pass on this one because people who have seen it, I can understand their opinions now on it and why they feel the way they feel. And I just feel like for those fans that this movie isn't going to do anything for you. At the same time, because it's 2019, this now isn't the only form of Constantine related content that you can watch. I'd more recommend that you watch this Constantine, which is a television show that was short-lived on NBC for a while, and then it got canceled, unfortunately. You should be able to find it on, I think, CW app. I think it's on there now. Obviously, I bought it myself, and it's a really good show, especially for those people who are, die-hard Hellblazer fans. It's just very accurate to the source material, so for those people looking for something to watch related to Constantine that is in that realm, I would recommend that you watch the Constantine show. So those are my thoughts on Constantine. Thank you again to my subscriber for requesting I review this film. If any of you want me to review a film in the future, just put it down in the comments below. And if you liked this video, then subscribe. Thanks for watching.